Pounders, we are back for another big board episode where we are going to deep dive into these underdog rankings again. A little bit of breaking news, not a big surprise. The Raiders are expected to use the franchise tag on Josh Jacobs. Where's this leave Zamir White? Most likely in the same exact spot, to be honest. He can't really get much cheaper. And it was expected that they were going to do this. So, yeah, Josh Jacobs, very, very interesting spot for him now that we're expecting him to be in Las Vegas, and he's going around pick 30, right before Travis Etienne and before Ramondre Stevenson. So I don't think it's really going to change where he goes in the draft. So I think that's pretty interesting. If you've been getting him here, it's been fine value. I think now we have a little more information where I'm more comfortable picking him versus if he went to another team that already had a 1A or 1B back. We saw Zamir White didn't really get involved last year, so Josh Jacobs still the clear number one. Zamir White only getting 17 touches. So yeah, Pounders, we're back. I'm going to do a quick one today. We're going to jump into one draft. We'll give the people a couple minutes here. Welcome ER7, welcome Art, welcome Fantasy Dysfunctional, and Ben, of course, is in the live chat, ready to draft. We're ready to learn. That's the goal today. Let's try to learn something new each time we draft. Try to get 1% better. That is what it's all about. And if you guys don't already have it, free for all of our subscribers, our free draft guide in rankings with player write-ups. Let me see if I can pull it up for everybody. Give a little visual. People like a nice picture book. Draft rankings with player write-ups all the way up until round, 10? Maybe even 11. I don't know. I went ham on this thing. Yeah, 11. And then we go into straight rankings with just small player notes. So if you don't already have that, hit me up on Twitter, free for all of our subscribers at Fantasy Dog Pound. Or if you don't have Twitter, just like Instagram with your email information, and we'll get that over to you. All right. I think we're ready. We have 7-8 people in the chat ready to draft like a bunch of sickos. We are always drafting. Always drafting. Pull this up. And let's see what we get. Hopefully, I say hopefully, I'm not the 12 out of 12 spot because that would just be annoying. I want to get a few of you guys in here. Pull it up. Going to the big board, we'll do a countdown. As always, it's 44.5, well, almost 45% full. This thing's filling fast. And eventually, once we have enough people in the lives, we'll be able to do our own drafts just between us, which would be fun. We could do $5, $10, whatever you guys want. And those obviously will be different rankings that we'll be talking about. It's going to be the same for Underdog, but we're going to have different players that we prefer in these cash games versus in these tournaments where we're playing against another 112, 113,000 lineups. Our player pool starts to change a little bit, and we can talk about that when the time comes. So let's jump on in, give it the old countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Waiting on one person, so I hope you guys got in early. And let's see who's in it. Artie, TB Bucks, H.J. Wigglesworth, 21 for 21 on the live stream, remains a shadow. Coltron, super familiar name. Not sure if he's a pounder, but I've seen him in a lot of rookie and sophomore drafts, which I've been having a lot of fun with. Just posted something on the Twitter machine about how to draft a little bit, just a little strategy. Where are we? We 12, 11 on 12. A little bit of strategy behind that. And this goes back to my poker days and giving away tells. And it's harder in these 12-man drafts to really keep track. We're looking at really their past, like what have they done in round 1, 2, 3, 4. But in those 4-man drafts, if you're the first pick, if you're the second pick and you want Kenny Pickett, and maybe you want to go a QB bully strategy, we're not just going to instant lock the QB the second it's our turn, because that kind of gives it away that, all right, this guy might be selecting QBs and at a fast rate. Let's let like 10, 15 seconds wind off the clock. Just slide that pick in for Kenny Pickett. And then when it comes back to you, if another QB is available and you want to do that strategy, go for it. That's the way to do it. Don't give away any tells. Goes back to my old poker days. And it's funny, what's his name? We gotta get his name right on the live stream. We can't disrespect the man like that. The winner of the rookies and sophomores draft from 2022, this past year, commented, and he was like, "Oh, other people do that? Like I've been doing that this whole time." So that is from the confirmed winner of 2022. Very neat. Let's see what we have going here. We Chase at 2, very standard, very standard. His Cups, ADP catching up, 4.9 to Kelsey's, 4.7. As you can see, Cup is going to move ahead of Kelsey any day now, any day. And the pregnant wife is calling, so I shall answer. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Let me pull up the board for you. All right, she has not popped yet. That call is always like, is it now? Do I have time to make a coffee? Josh Allen goes at the 10 spot. I like Devontae Adams here over Lamb, but if A.J. Brown was there, I've been selecting A.J. Brown over Devontae Adams just because there's less unknown. But we'll gladly take Devontae Adams here. And I might go a different start. Now that I have 25, 26% Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I was getting him after the 3 QBs went off the board, now I might start diving into these running backs for me to just even out my exposures a little bit. And I think that would be nice to do some hero running back builds, starting wide receiver here with the first pick, and then getting one of these 3 for hero running back builds. Sorry, babe. I need an hour. Just started a draft. Well, yeah, you don't tell her that. You don't tell her that. The head sticking out. Bijan goes at 13. So we're just going to come in here and do a little scoop-de-scoo. Ice Cream Man is in town. We'll take JT. And my exposure to JT is going to be extremely and kind of embarrassingly low. But we have 76 drafts or something left, and we can look to smooth it out later. Yeah, it's at 6%. So it's nothing like egregious, but I was taking the value of Amon-Ra St. Brown since these drafts have started. So now I feel comfortable kind of backtracking. Let's get some of these RBs. See what these sickos are doing. H.J. Wigglesworth. Oh my God. So this is sort of a red flag, right? This like alert. In my mind, I'm going to want to grab a QB at like 35 at that pick. I don't want to reach on one of these guys, but I want one of them to fall, like a Lamar or Justin Fields, just because this guy, you don't know. Is he going to go 3 QBs? Is he going to go 4, 5? Because clearly this is a We know it's a bad strategy. Yeah. We're just doing one today. We're just doing one today. Yeah, before the combine numbers tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the wide receivers, QBs, and tight ends 40-yard dash. It's not going to matter as much for wide receivers as it does running backs. The 40-yard dash is extremely important for the running backs, combined with what size they come in at, their BMI, their real height, not their college website height where they let them put quarters in their socks. So that's going to be something to look out for running backs, and we'll be touching on that. And our rankings are going to significantly change with these running backs just based off height, weight, 40 time. So we'll see. Derrick Henry goes at 24. Jalen Hurts goes to the Travis Kelce team. Interesting. Breece Hall, Derrick Henry. So he's got his double anchor running back. Joe Burrow goes to the T. Higgins CMC team. I just think Joe Burrow's now, again, it's tournament play. So I'd be lying if I said I haven't selected Joe Burrow a few times here and there with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But if this was cash, right, this is a terrible value. It's a terrible value. Now, in tournaments, you have to sort of think of it a different way. If the player has a chance to have a spike week, you're kind of paying for that ceiling that player has. Now, for Joe Burrow, in my opinion, that's still not going to be as high as a Jalen Hurts, as high as even a Lamar or Justin Fields due to their rushing upside. So it's still a questionable pick in tournaments, in my opinion, but maybe he is the QB1 week 17. That's a possibility. It's in the realm of possibilities. So just something to keep in mind. Not going to be doing it a lot. Never going to do it with the naked Joe Burrow. And yeah, we can make some exceptions. Year 7 says, hey, while you wait for a pick, do a countdown for a big board slow draft. Hopefully I can get in with you. Yeah, I'll jump in a slow draft. I'm not the biggest fan of slow drafts because you have to play to your strengths, right? And one of my strengths is being able to balance my team on the go. Being in the draft room 30 seconds, kind of looking ahead. I have a good feel for the ADPs and where they fall as well. So I play to my strengths. I'll do a couple slows for the pounders in the chat, no doubt. This is interesting. I guess I will go with Debo here. I don't have a ton of Debo, but this is a good range that I would take him. And if I went double wide receiver start, we'd be taking a Ramondre Stevenson here. Let's see if one of the QBs falls back to us. Just not as high on Debo. We saw ever since CMC jumped over to San Fran, like Debo's carries went down as well. Yeah, I'm going to jump in a slow just for the people in the chat. Do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm in, and there's 3 people left if you want to jump in that slow draft. So we are going to get one of these QBs. We saw this animal not go another QB, so that's good news. Coltron brings on Stevenson. If I was him, I'd either go Justin or Lamar. Yeah. We'll gladly bring in Justin Fields. Pounders against pounders. I love it. You guys are starting to recognize each other's names in these drafts because you guys are also a bunch of sickos like I when it comes to best ball. Look at the RBs all swooped up. And everyone has a pretty balanced start. Every team has a running back except for Jags. That's insane. That's not typical. Typically, you have one or two people going, 4 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers at QB. So very balanced. Everyone's really focusing on balance. Let's see what happens when it gets back to us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the best thing about Underdog, right? Even if you're new, other people are new. We have 6 people in here without a badge. If you don't know what the badges are, the gray and black is 500 drafts. The red one is 1,000 or over. And the goat horns are if you win a Battle Royale. I expect everyone to have goat horns this time next year. All the pounders in the chat. There's one more opening in the slow draft for the big board if you want to jump in that with us. TJ Hawkinson goes at 44, followed by Christian Watson at 45. That's a good value on Christian Watson there. Fall into the team that doesn't have a receiver yet as well. Like he typically goes before ADP. Justin Herbert at the 4-5 turn. Now, if you're going to go like a QB like Justin Herbert, and I have Justin Herbert even ranked in the red for value-wise, Joe Burrow should be going much closer to Justin Herbert. Obviously, Justin Herbert had a down year, but he had like broken ribs. So he's playing through pain. Trevor Lawrence should also be going closer to Dak. But when everyone's paying up for QB, I think that's where these 2 QBs right here, Justin Fields and Lamar, are the best upside and value average here in the 4th round, the early 4th round. Drake London, Christian Watson. Already on the clock. But yeah, I typically stick to these 30-second drafts just because of that advantage I feel we have with being able to balance our squad on the go. He goes Tyler Lockett, knows he's not going to make it back to him. Tyler Lockett's one of our favorite value wide receivers in this range. Over Terry McLaurin, 100%. All right, we'll gladly take Terry here after ADP, though. He brings in JSN. Never really thinking about going Kirk or Lawrence without Kirk or Ridley. Yeah, Marquise Brown. That is where we were looking. Don't have a lot of Dalvin here, and I just really don't even like it, to be honest. I'm between Kyle Pitts or Mike Evans. It's looking like it's going to be Kyle Pitts. It's looking like it's going to be Kyle Pitts. Let's do this hero RB build. The value wasn't that insane for us. 4 picks after ADP for Cook. Let's stick with it. EJ, welcome to the live stream, my man. Welcome. See Mike Evans go at 65 to TB Bucks. It's nice for his roster construction. Because now you have to reach up a little bit for George Pickens, the next receiver off the board, Jordan Addison. Aaron Jones followed by Dalvin Cook. Out with luck on the clock goes Javonte Williams at 68. Reports say that he might be ready for week 1. Kind of believe it when I see it, sort of thing. All I know is the people drafting Latavius Murray have to halt. You guys got to halt. That's just it's a low upside pick anyways in these tournaments. Now for cash, it was an interesting strategy, or for zero RB, interesting strategy where you might have a lot of rookies that start slow. Latavius Murray, you assumed was going to have a big role early in the season with the Javonte Williams being injured, but now you get the news that he may be ready. You got to halt on the Latavius Murray because now you don't even have that early season upside, and week 15, 16, 17, where all the money is, he might be useless. Isaiah Pacheco off the board at 75. Dallas Goedert fell all the way to 74. I feel like that is a good value. Yeah. 10 picks. It's really good on Dallas Goedert. I still think you have to go 3 tight ends with the Dallas Goedert, but Dobbins off, Rashad Bateman off at 78. Dotson off the board. Definitely was going to be one of the guys we're looking at. If Joe Mixon falls here, we will gladly take him. Gladly take him. What do we got? 18 picks after ADP? Yes. Yes. Welcome aboard. Dak Prescott off at 84 to bring in with CeeDee Lamb. I like that. He should be done at QB now. I'm stopping at QB. Between these two, you invested enough and you have upside. Myers, interesting. Interesting. This would just strictly be an exposure smooth out pick. And I wouldn't feel awesome about it just because this RB range, in my opinion, is just so strong. But we already have our 2. We got Joe Mixon at a value. Let's bring in another receiver here. To only have 3 receivers and not picking again until 107 just doesn't seem right. And that's sort of why I like waiting on RB. This range is awesome. If you can hit in this range, you're looking good. Damn. TB Buck says he got Mixon 27 picks after ADP. Gross. Gross. I mean, he shouldn't be going that far after ADP. Even this is way too far. Pick 83 for Joe Mixon. Even if he doesn't return to Cincy, he's going to have a role on any offense he lands on. So Tua goes at 91. to pair up with Tyreek Hill. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Zay Flowers off the board at 92. I think Zay Flowers is someone that can really raise up his draft stock in the combine. To probably go in this Rashad Bateman range. He should easily be able to jump over Cortland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, Kadarius Toney. And we'll see. Just after the combine, I'm saying I think he can land there. And then depending on the team, you might see him jump up 30 picks. Yeah, news about Mixon not being with Cincy. Yeah, the team was very put offish when they were asked, hey, are you guys going to bring Mixon back? They're like, we don't know. It's like, that's not the best. Well, they didn't say yes. That's the worst. That's the worst part. They didn't say yes. So you want to see them back them. And yeah, they didn't do that. So keeping Higgins, getting rid of Mixon. Yeah. If I had to bet, I would say you are correct, sir. We have a super balanced squad right now. AJ Dillon off the board. DPJ off the board. Look at Artie reaching up and grabbing those receivers. That a boy. That a boy. See what Zach wants to do. Pick another running back, Zach. We need these RBs off the board. RB, QB. Danny Dimes off the board. Jalen Hyatt. It's going to be someone we were interested in as our first rookie wide receiver. He just seems like a good best ball rookie right now with his speed, being able to break off long plays. And he's going in a range that really shouldn't burn you at this point. If you get a 9th rounder that starts slow, and there it is. Alvin Kamara off at 105. All right. I'm going to bring in Mooney for the correlation here with Justin Fields. Gainwell at 108. Ugh. I'm not on board. I am not on board. Let's see what he wants to do. Bringing it all the way down to triple zeros here. Isaiah Likely? What? What's this guy know? Was he just traded to KC and Kelsey retired? Like, that's what? 86 picks. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm so thrown off. I'm just going to go Trey Lance. That just threw me for a loop. Bringing Trey Lance with Debo. Oh my God. Yo, this guy, enormous brain. Coltron, enormous brain. My small brain cannot compute what just happened, but he's got the big plays, not us. Oh my God. That just threw me for a loop. I don't own a lot of Trey Lance. So 10 picks after ADP, 9 picks after ADP. And the stack will bring it in. We'll bring it in. EJ says, obviously an accident. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's picking people in the 190s already. Maybe that's his set rankings. That is funny. That is funny. Elijah Moore goes to TB Bucks. I like the range Elijah Moore's going. We're back on board. We're back on board. LaFleur no longer a coach for the Jets. No longer going to be an OC there. And we saw that last season he got in that fight at practice, which then they said, all right, he wanted a trade. They said, no, we're not trading you. Take some time off and then come back to the facility. But yeah, him and LaFleur, he told the coach to go F himself in practice and that he sucks. So that's going to affect your playing time. With him gone, with the potential QB upgrade, Elijah Mitchell at 113, even 119 ADP. I've been scooping him and Palmer. Palmer will depend, though. Will depend on if they bring in Keenan Allen or not. But even then, Palmer did show that he could spike with both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams healthy, so I'm fine with it. TB Buck says he wants to be sharp one day, and you know, we believe TB Bucks can do that if you just set your mind to it, my friend. You can be sharp. You can be sharp. Bucks, obviously, one of the sharper drafters that I draft with. Freak. Absolute freak. All right. So we have a 2-2-5-1 build right now. Again, we're balanced. I think this team needs like a last round QB still. Ugly. That's why I don't necessarily love Trey Lance, because of the unknown. Kind of forces you to go 3 QBs unless you have, you know, one of the top 3. But Justin Fields, he can have those spike weeks, but he can also have bad weeks too, where he disappears. Throws for 112 yards. I'm going 5 QBs. Relax. Art says, I slightly reached on Tua, regret it. Let Geno go and hope he falls back to me. And instantly taken. That's best ball for you. Yeah, you try to make some big brain plays, and it just like, maybe he'll come back to me in 15 picks and he goes the next pick. I like Kyler Murray a lot in this range. Like if Kyler was still there, I might take a Kyler just because he has that potential to spike for week 15, 16, 17 with his legs. Easily stackable late too with one of the tight ends or Rondell Moore. TB Bucks isn't lying. He might go 5 QBs. This is the start of it. I'm interested in like a Wan'Dale Robinson here. I think there's a significant tier fall off after Wan'Dale. So let's go Wan'Dale and let's see who comes back to us. Where did Russ go? Russell Wilson went at 119. Yeah, I haven't been selecting a lot of Russell Wilson. Obviously, we do have Cortland Sutton. Maybe we bring in a Greg Dulcich kind of bet on this Denver offense. Gallup goes at 132. Yeah, this pick was questionable too, in my opinion. The Gainwell pick. I don't love going a second tight end here, but I'm not liking any of the other values either. I think it's fine to bring in a second tight end here. And we'll just go Dawson Knox. Fell 9 picks on an elite offense. Don't have to explain that one too much. Still going to need a third tight end on this team. let's see. Elijah Mitchell went off the board at 125. I think that's a little early. Yeah, but that is the range he should be going in. Arguably even sooner. Like, I'd be fine if he was in this like 110, 115 range with David Montgomery. And his ADP to open was around like 155, I want to say. We were just scooping him. I think my most owned running back. Let's pull up the exposures real quick. We're 75 in. Yeah. Elijah Mitchell at 34.5%. A lot of these 3 tight end builds. Cool. We're still waiting on one more if you want to get into that slow draft. Waiting on one person for the slow draft if you want to join that. Aaron Rodgers goes at 136. Doesn't have any Green Bay Packers. KC. Man, H.J. Wigglesworth with only, 4 receivers? 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers through 12 rounds. It's going to be tough to come back from. But that's so standard. We see H.J. Wigglesworth doing that like every single time. So standard. Just another draft where H.J. Wigglesworth refuses to draft wide receivers. It's so funny. Greg Dulcich goes at 142. Seems like a more reasonable spot for him to go, to be honest. Greg Dulcich 134. Can you imagine picking? I'm sorry. Greg Dulcich over Elijah Mitchell? I can't. Wigglesworth is a maniac. Yeah, and he has to be a pounder. He's been in 21 of 21 total live stream drafts, but has yet to comment in the live stream. Just sitting in the shadows, laughing like the Joker. That's what I picture. just a creepy laugh, like you will never find me. We got to catch up at running back a little bit here. Downside is definitely there. He's super cheap, though. Yeah, I just can't in the right mind pick Greg Dulcich over Elijah Mitchell, like, any day of the week. Any day of the week. I could have 5 running backs at that point in 0 tight ends, and I'm still going Elijah Mitchell. Let's see. Can't believe Alec Pierce's ADP is still where it's at. Rondell Moore off the board. Doobs off the board. Does Pierce fall to us just directly into our lap? He does. He does. I think was he our number 1 drafted receiver? I think so. 6'3", 211, runs a 4.40. Going into his 2nd year. Do I have to hype him up anymore? Should have better quarterback play than Matt Ryan last season. Just literally give him anyone, probably besides Anthony Richardson. I don't think Anthony Richardson would be good for Alec Pierce, for Pittman, for Jelani Woods. Super low completion rate in college, like 54%. Until then, I'm going with the player. I'm betting on the skill. Foreman was going to be one of our guys we wanted. I think this is a better price for Alexander Madison. Damian Harris, unknown where he's going to land. I'm fine with going Madison in this situation. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. Our wide receiver room's looking strong. Tight end room's looking relatively strong. We'll bring in probably one more. QB. I mean, we know Justin Fields. We know his potential. Trey Lance, we don't. No one does. And he has Brock Purdy breathing down his neck. And then our running backs, we have, I mean, I would consider it double anchor RB between Joe Mixon and Jonathan Taylor. But again, there's a little bit of unknown with Mixon right now. Mary goes to TB Bucks. Let's take a look at the Pounders teams. TB Bucks is, I like to start with the QBs. Kyler Murray and Derek Carr with Michael Mayer at tight end. Wide receivers are Diggs, Olave, Evans, Jahan Dotson, Hyatt, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore. At running back, he has Barkley, Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Cam Akers. So super strong at running back, super strong at wide receiver. QB, he has the upside rushing potential with Kyler Murray, some sort of floor with Derek Carr. We'll see where he lands. And Michael Mayer, the number one prospect for tight ends, should be a 3-down tight end. So depending on what team he ends up on, good pass catcher, good blocker, can sort of do it all. Where your Kincaid is going to be not your best blocking tight end. It's going to be more like a offensive tight end, more like a Mike Gesicki or like Noah Fant. Tajee Spears off the board. We need some running back value to fall to us. You could argue we're done at wide receiver, and I'd be fine with that. So a 3-6-7-3. Does that math equal? 12, 11, yeah. Oh, we need 20 rounds. So 3-7-7. Go 3-7-7-3. Let's see who falls. Let's see who falls. Got to balance this squad out. Have to balance this squad out. Shaheed goes at 166. Adam Thielen. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. John Mechie at 172. I'd rather a John Mechie over an Adam Thielen. Just think there's more upside to this pick. Gerald Everett goes at 173. That seems like a better range for him. Jordan Love off the board to Artie to bring him in with Tua. Gesicki off the board. Yeah, get these QBs and tight ends off the board. Please, 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 please. Even wide receivers. Thornton, another one of my favorite wide receivers. This wide receiver room's looking mean. Looking mean. Definitely going to have to catch up at tight end, but that's easy to do at the end of the draft. I'm liking TB Bucks' chances. I'm going to bet on TB Bucks' team. Singletary at 179. I don't love it. but it brings in touches. Tim Patrick. Okay. Let's go with upside. Rashad Penny, 5.7 yards per carry through his career. Can't finish a season without getting hurt. But who knows? If there's hope for Raheem Mostert, there's hope for Rashad Penny. Before this season, Raheem Mostert had one game with over 20 carries. One game to his career. And this year he proved that he could stay healthy, which is just pretty crazy. That's why he was going in like the last round of best ball drafts last year. Is Rashad Penny the next Mostert? I don't know. I'm not banking on it, that's for sure. But maybe he's healthy for week 15, 16, 17, and that's all we care about. We're going to need at least, we'll bring in 2 more running backs to this group. 1 more QB. And a late round tight end. And we'll just wrap this one in a bow and send it off. Paris Campbell. Wouldn't be a draft without drafting Paris Campbell. Khalil Shakur. So this team's got Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Anthony Richardson at QB. Could work, but needs Anthony Richardson to find a good squad and become a starting QB. It's funny, like his highlights are awesome, but if you watch like a full game of his, you're going to see some red flags. So 170, it's probably the right ADP for him because of the upside. But we'll see. We'll see how he tests too. Be right back. All right, we need a couple more values to get back to us at RB. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Samir White, we have the news about Josh Jacobs expected to be franchise tagged. I'm going to be cooling off on Zamir White now. I'd rather go with the Pierre Strong, even though they're sort of like the same at this point. Zamir White had 17 touches. Pierre Strong had 10 plus a few catches, but so maybe we go with, we'll see. We'll just sort of see. I doubt Jeff Wilson's going to make it back to us. Not the most high upside player, but he should have a role. I love this. I love this take. I mean, in cash games, just like the normal sit and goes with 10 or 12 teams, I think Tua might be the best value QB on the board. Where's he going? He's going at 96. He used to go a little later too, so his ADP is actually slowly moving up the board. So sharper drafters are taking him a little sooner. I think that's the right move. Like, people are betting on him getting another concussion. You know what I mean? Like that's so. It's a random injury for a QB. Really is. Maybe they get him some more protection this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in the offseason. So I like Tua at that range. I'd much rather Tua at that range than Joe Burrow in the 3rd round or Justin Herbert in the 4th over Trevor Lawrence's ADP, which I think he went late there too at 64. Yeah, that's actually a decent range for Trevor Lawrence at 64. But yeah, Jeff Wilson off the board. No surprise. Let's bring in our first rookie running back to this team. Someone that can get the ball in a 3rd down situation. Kenny McIntosh, good pass catcher out of the backfield. I think he would be a good fit for Cleveland if they release Hunt and De'Annis Johnson. But we'll see. What's he want to do? This could be anybody. This could be someone at 300 ADP. I'm thinking it's going to be a tight end. Unless he's just, yeah, I was going to say, unless he's just that high when I say likely. We're going to bring in Tannehill here. Someone that should at least be able to provide this team with the floor. As long as he stays healthy. Random is helmet to helmet. Yeah, we'll see. It's tough to bet that Tua gets injured again. You know what I mean? It's just injuries are tough to predict, especially concussions. He has a history of concussions, but that's because he got smoked. Maybe get rid of the ball a little sooner. He might have to make some small adjustments. Maybe they get him more protection. I would not be surprised to see that in free agency or the NFL draft. So we have 2 picks left. And this is looking balanced. We have upside with Justin Fields. We have upside with Trey Lance. I just think the floor between these two is too low. So I bring in a floor guy like Ryan Tannehill, who actually has some rushing upside too. I think he's a stupid value at QB in this range. RBs, we have Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, Alexander Madison, Devin Singletary, Rashad Penny, Kenny McIntosh. So really it's a hero running back build. Joe Mixon, if he can land in the right spot, or if they bring him back in Cincy, which it's not looking likely, I still think he pays out at pick 83. So we need a steady year from JT and then random spike weeks between these guys. It's probably going to be dependent on 3 wide receivers each week and a flex coming from the receiver position, or maybe tight end position as the flex. So we have some guys in here. We got some upside, and that's what you have to do. You have to get your base. You have to get your base amount of touches, and then you can bring in the upside guys that, if they don't end up in the right offense, if Kenny McIntosh ends up as RB3 on the team, just on the depth chart, this team can still find a way with these guys right here. But if there's a little bit of hope, maybe a little bit of luck, Kenny McIntosh ends up on the right team, and now he can provide you RB3 numbers, nothing crazy, RB3 numbers. And we put off RB, and we're able to find that one guy, this team's going to be looking really good. And devil's advocate, if you go 3 rookie RBs with JT, Joe Mixon, Alexander Madison, and we know that the rookies start off slow typically, now you're depending on hitting on 2 of those rookies, it makes it a little less likely, right? Actually makes it a lot less likely. And then you're depending on Joe Mixon having an RB2 type year. So this gives us a chance to move this lineup forward with these RBs with still having a little bit of upside. I like this pick. So I'm fine with those RBs too. Like he has his 3 RBs. I'd probably like to see one more guy with a sure roll, but we could reach down for Eric Gray. I have a lot of deuce. It's just I don't want that much deuce, to be honest. I think we're gonna stop at 2 tight ends. Just because I don't really think any of these guys can provide a weekly value over these 2. And in this range, you want to get people that you think can spike into the lineup. Cade Otton is sort of interesting, but on a year that they're probably going to be tanking, not scoring too many points. I know that they released or plan to release Cameron Brate. It's just thin. It's thin. When we select Kyle Pitts with pick 62, we're kind of making a bet that he has a impact year. I wouldn't be opposed to just going a random rookie wide receiver or like a David Bell. I just think Cleveland could bring in a better receiver. David Bell's fine. I don't own too much of him, so let's see what the exposure is on David Bell. It's really light. Yeah, just one other team. So David Bell, last pick. We'll bring in an 8th receiver. Didn't want to go 8 RBs. That'd be odd. That'd just be odd. So there it is. There's the team. Let's take a quick peek at Artie's team. At QB, he has Tua, Jordan Love, Jimmy Garoppolo. At tight end, he has Cole Kmet, Tyler Higbee, Noah Fant, and Conklin. So super strong at tight end. QB is probably going to be bottom of the pack, but Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Rashad Bateman, DPJ, Sky Moore, extremely strong at wide receiver. At running back, he's Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook, David Montgomery, Antonio Gibson, Tank Bigsby, and brings in Deuce Vaughn with his last pick. I like that last pick being an RB for this team. Strong at wide receiver. I think running back is going to be around middle of the pack, but Antonio Gibson's a good value in my opinion. Dalvin Cook could prove to be an extremely good value. TB Bucks, Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, Kyle Trask. Tight end, he has Jelani Woods, Juwan Johnson, Michael Mayer. Love those 3 late tight ends. The first tight end being off the board for him is Michael Mayer. Then at running back, he is Barkley, Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Cam Akers. Goes Dwayne McBride. So spends a lot of draft capital early on running back and then puts off until the end, which is smart. I think it's going to be cut off here. Let's see what this guy does. All right, we'll call it out. Diggs, Olave, Mike Evans, Dotson, Jalen Hyatt, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore, Tyquan Thornton, and Nathaniel Dell. Nathaniel Dell putting up around 2,700 yards over the last 2 seasons and a ridiculous amount of touchdowns, but he's going to be more of a slot guy, I believe, in the NFL. We'll just kind of wait to see what team he ends up on. And that is going to do it, guys. I appreciate everyone coming out. Hope you hit the sub button, join the pound, getting some of these live drafts with us, hit the bell for notifications so you can make that possible, when we go live. Welcome. I appreciate it. Another quickie today, 5 p.m. on the dot Eastern. Appreciate everyone coming out. Pounders.